Hello, everybody out there in TV land. How are you doing? Thanks for tuning in to Think, Feel, and Believe, where you too can get the understanding of how things are going in your life. Yeah, for $19.99. No. Stop that. Okay. So I'm talking about, think, feel, and believe. Everything in life is how you wish to think, feel, and believe about it, and however you wish to think, feel, and believe about it is how it'll be for you. Okay? And so this is really huge. This is big, huge. Because what's happening is that people are thinking, feeling, and believing every day in their lives. All the thoughts that's going in, everything that they're being bombarded with, and distracted with, and affected by, and desires, and being bothered, and being tormented, and your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about those things are the things that are directing and tormenting. And, some of those things that I'm going to talk about with you, you might say, oh, well, yeah, I understand. But if you understand, how come you ain't using the power in your life, huh? How come you ain't using the power in your life? Well, I understand. Oh, yeah, sure, I agree. Oh, yeah, I understand. I've heard so many people that I've talked to, about this, and oh, yeah, I believe that. Oh, yeah, sure, I believe that. But then I'm asking myself, so if you believe it, why aren't you practicing in your life? Why are you using the power of it in your life? Because there's some power. I mean, there's the power to direct and change and create in your life. Create in your life. And some of us are creating piles of too. I mean, really, this is really huge stuff, and there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot, and a lot of it, and obviously a lot of it's good, and a lot of it's useful and everything. But there was just always something missing when I would take a look at all this stuff, is because I experienced it, like I said in the last video. Did you watch number 1? Did you? Oh, well, get back there and watch it. If you didn't, you goofy. You listen to a 1 and a 2 and a 3, think, feel, and believe, and go in succession. Okay? I'm not going to tell you again. Well, maybe I might. Probably. Yep. So, man, I mean, this is so huge. It's like, where do I start? I mean, really? And, I'm going to give you some very simple examples as to what happened, and and they're going to be so simple that people go, oh yeah, I understand. Okay, well, and again, like I've talked to people before, and it's like, okay, well, we got hatch a little, go ahead, hatch a little heavy, go fish the hat, there we go. So I'm thinking about well, okay, if you know it, why aren't you using the power of it in your life? If you have such a great understanding for it, and be like, oh yeah, I understand. Well, if you do, then why are you using the power in your life? And then why am I seeing stuff in your life that keeps perpetuating in a certain fashion? Okay. So I want to be able to back this up, and this to me is the layman's terms a little bit more, because I'm going to give I've never heard anybody talk this way. They say, oh, if you got your dreams, all you have to do is think about them and write them down and visualize them, and it's much more, it's a little bit more complex than that. And it's a little bit more complex than that, to my understanding. And the reason why it is because I went through things, and I can give you examples, and I got the good ones and I got the bad ones too. Okay, because I have gotten a great understanding of this, because all different things were happening in my life that were definitely related to the understanding of how I was wishing to think, feel, and believe about those things in my life too. And I had one that just really woke me up to the reality of this, like as serious as a heart attack that will kill you, And I'm gonna get to that story, and I'm sure you want to understand, and I'm sure you want to learn about the story. I'm sure you do. Yeah, and you must. I mean, the stuff I've got to talk about here, and it's going to be in several videos. I can't, I sit down here and I'm just like moving forward in faith going, oh my gosh, how am I going to think about all this? How am I going to portray all this? Because I'm not I'm not sitting here scripting it all down and reading my words or anything like that. This is coming from the spirit inside, the Solex. There you go, there you go, there you go. It's a Solex, it's a Solex, it's a Solex. It's just a spirit inside the expression. It's got your attention. It's a spiritual expression. It's got your attention. Yeah, he does. Yeah, so it's important that you listen, okay, to the spiritual expression. Okay, so here we go. The first thing that I noticed in my life that I didn't really, I want to think that I could go back even further, because I'm sure there was something else. I know there was, but I just wasn't conscious of it. I wasn't conscious at all. First time, and here's a really simple example. Okay, the first time I experienced this was, and I wasn't even really conscious of it. I was just like, oh, that's interesting, and it pretty much centered around the fact of that when I was in the Navy, and I bought this Toyota truck, a little blue Toyota truck. The truck back then, those Toyota little trucks, those suspensions were tough, man. I mean, they were great. It was like if you did four-wheel driving around in that and you went on some trails and stuff, it's like the rougher it got, the more that truck liked it. I mean, it was awesome, man. I love that little truck. So I bought this truck, when I bought it, and of course I had to start making payments on it, and I had this deep, I had this desire. I'm like, oh man, I want to be able to pay off this truck in a year. Man, I really want to be able to pay this truck off in a year. Gosh, I really want to be able to pay this truck off a year. And I thought about it, right? And from that thought was the synergistic component that gave me a feeling. Right? All right. It gave me a feeling. And the feeling was an earnest desire, right? I mean, because I wanted, and these are real simple, but they're going to get more juicy. You're just insane. And so, I just had this, desire and this thought and this feeling, and it was tied to more of a thought and a feeling. But I have to admit, because everything in life about how you think, feel, and believe about it. Okay, so I guess there's one thing that you can do that you believe about it, because belief is faith, knowing that it can happen. It's kind of like it can happen, but in this particular example, I didn't really know whether I could or whether it could happen or not. There was something innate inside me that believed that somehow it was possible. I just didn't know if it was going to happen or not, but I really wanted it, and I thought about it, and from time to time, month to month, and it was like I wanted it, and it started getting closer and closer, and guess what? I think it was August or October of that year, because I bought it, and I come really right up on a year for it, and I was making double payments and everything too, just trying to see if it could happen, because I really just something I wanted. Sure enough, came around a year. I paid that truck off within a year of owning it. And, and that sounds really simple, but see, that was just a step in my life that gave me an understanding when I went further down the path, you see. And I look back and I said, well, that's the first one. And I'm, interesting. Yeah. And so, I mean, there in essence, and again, like I talked about in Think, Feel, and Believe One. It's the synergistic connection of thinking, feeling, and believing, right? Thinking, feeling, and believing about and having faith. And my faith was tied to that one primarily, not knowing whether it happened or not, but believe that it could be possible, and that I was just doing everything that I could to see if I could make it happen. And sure enough, I did, and when that first one happened, I didn't think nothing. It didn't really grab my attention. I thought it was kind of interesting that it happened and everything. So, that's what I mean when I talk about blindly. I did it blindly. I did it in the procession of not knowing really what was going to happen, and it happened, and I'm like, oh, darn. It happened blindly. So I got some other ones. I'm going to tell you, but go to Think, Feel, and Believe 3. Yay!